So you came to this video to learn how to play Blade, huh? Well, let me just tell you folks, you are in the right place. How in the hell are we doing it? Fellas, sorry I had to get that out there, all right? Fellas, how in the hell are we doing here today? It is your boy Lunar, back at it with another tutorial on a character in Marvel Rivals, all right? So typically, in case you didn't watch my other character breakdowns, all right, we did Cloak and Dagger and Luna Snow, because your boy typically plays support 99.5% of the time, all right? You'll see me out there on the battlefield. Blade, shut up. I'm talking. Blade doesn't talk over Blade while Blade's talking. All right, so yeah, typically play support. That's kind of my role. It's kind of what I like doing. But with the release of season 3.5, we got my boy Blade in the picture, and he's actually really fun. I've been enjoying him a lot. I'm kind of taking a little hiatus from healing, and I'm actually pretty good at Blade too. I think I do pretty all right. I've been seeing a lot of things online of people saying that he's not really that good. They don't know how to play him. Like, they don't really understand his kit or what he's supposed to be doing on the map. And as somebody that mains support, but is able to just instantly pick this character up and fry on DPS, that kind of baffles me, all right? I feel like he's actually really good. So that's what I'm here to help you out with today, okay? So we're just gonna do a full character breakdown of his kit, his abilities, what I feel like you should be doing on the map, what you shouldn't be doing, how to use his ult, and then we'll go into specific in-game examples to kind of show you a bit better real-life example on how this all works and plays out in-game, all right? So let's just get into the complete basics here of the kit, all right? My man has a shotgun go boom. He has a sword go slash. Pretty much about it. The shotgun here, I compare it a lot to Bucky's primary pistol. They're the same kind of shoot pattern. They're not hit scan, they're projectile. And they kind of have about the same shooting or like rate of fire too. I think the shotgun's just a little bit slower than Bucky's pistol. And the biggest tip that helped me out instantly with his shooting is using this little circle and dot crosshair you see in the middle of the screen. When I first started playing him, I just tried to use a dot or like a tiny crosshair, and it really doesn't work because of the rate of fire that this character has. But if you have a circle around the dot, like with these little moving targets for an example, if you just line up the edge of the circle with the target, then they end up just running into the shot. And that, right out of the gate, might help your accuracy out tremendously with this character. Maybe you're somebody who just likes using crosshairs and aiming a little bit in front of people, but I like having something where I'm still putting it on the target, and this circle helps out a lot. Also, something that's really important to note is that the distance between you and the target significantly affects the damage that you're going to output. So if you're within 5 meters, you're gonna do about 80 HP worth of damage. But if you go from 10 to 15 meters, you do about 180. All right, that's insane. These are, of course, like headshots. This is a perfect case scenario, but that is something that you have to keep in mind 100% when you're engaging. 10 to 15 meters seems to be the absolute sweet spot for this guy. Once you get to about 20 to 25, it's still more damage than if you were 5 meters away, but nothing compared to the 10 to 15. And then once you get really far out, like the 30 meters, it goes back down to what it was when you were super close up. So obviously you don't have like a rangefinder on you in the middle of a match, but just kind of visualize this distance right here. You don't want to be super close up. You don't want to be super far away. Like, you could still be 20 to 25 meters away and still be doing, like I said, a pretty decent amount of damage, but just don't get super close up or super far with this guy. If you do find yourself like super close up on people, or they're pressing you, whatever's going on, that's where the sword comes in. Like we just mentioned a second ago, he has a sword, and on its own, it's really not the best thing at all, okay? There are other characters in the game that use a sword way better, aka magic, but it's because the sword is meant to be comboed with his other abilities, which we'll get into now. The main sword ability he has is his E, Bloodline Awakening, okay? And this can be popped with the sword out, or if you have the shotgun out and you press E, it just instantly takes you into this mode. And this right here makes the sword tremendously better. I don't know if you can see the little bar in the middle of the screen that's kind of building up to a 10 right now. Anytime you deal damage with the sword, it's almost like the Wolverine ability, like the Wolverine's Rage or whatever it's called, where the more damage he does, the faster his attacks get. It's the exact same thing pretty much. So once you pull this guy out and you really start going ham, the sword becomes a lot better. But there's still even more you can do to further this damage output potential. Also, while in this mode, it is important to note that if you read the description here, it says at the bottom, while in this state, you suffer reduced healing, but gain lifesteal on attacks. So I don't know exactly what the percentages are. I think it's like 40% lifesteal and a 60% reduced healing or something. I'm not 100% sure. I've heard that something is bugged with this. That's why a lot of people also don't really like using them. But you're going a lot faster with your attacks, dealing a lot more damage with the sword, but you are honestly incredibly vulnerable unless you find yourself in a 1v1. If you're in a 1v1, this seems to be just fine. The lifesteal seems to negate the reduced healing pretty good. But if you're like just diving into the middle of a fight and you got 2 to 3, 4 people shooting at you at once, you're just gonna get absolutely shredded. So just keep that in mind. All right, you don't want to be just running out into a fight and staying in this forever, because you are really squishy like this. With the reduced healing, that means your healers aren't able to save you as much as they would be when you're just in your normal state. So I just kind of use this to like dive on a character, try to get a quick kill, and then immediately hop out of it so you're in your normal character state where you can get healed just fine. But with all that being said, there's still other parts of his kit that you can combo with the Bloodline Awakening to make the sword even better. And that's what brings us into his dash, okay? So with the dash and with his 2 different weapons, you can obviously use this to just gain height or like get around the map. Obviously, you're not gonna have this many. I turned ability cooldowns off. But like if you're just running around the map and you wanna get from point A to point B, boom, use the dash, and then you're already in a better vantage point to shoot down on the enemy team or whatever. And then if you wanted to use the dashes to attack, if you have your shotgun out and you dash at somebody, you deliver a shotgun blast to them. And if you notice their health bar turning a little like blue outline there, that means that they have reduced healing. And then if you have the sword out and you dash at them, you do this little whirlwind twirl with your sword that does a pretty decent amount of damage, and it also makes the targets suffer from slowness, or they just move slow, all right? There's not any sort of like status effect like the shotgun blast that shows you that, but that's just what it says in the description, all right? Target goes slow. The last ability you have with the sword is your right trigger, or whatever button it is for you on controller, and that is a block or parry ability. So with this up, you become unstoppable for a brief amount of time, however much time's on that little bar. You take reduced damage from the front, you can still get shot from the back. And with this popped, it also reduces the cooldown of your dash ability, so you'll get your dash back faster. It doesn't really feel like you're getting it back faster. Maybe you have to hit an actual like ability parry, but that's just what it says in the description, all right? So this can be popped with the sword out, or if you have the shotgun out and you still want to block, you don't have to switch, you can just block with the sword. And something that actually is really good with this is that it can be used to completely negate certain ultimate abilities, like the Eye of Agamotto or Thing It's Clobbering Time. If you time your parry perfectly with when those abilities pop or try to hit you, you can completely keep yourself safe from it. You'll hear like a little chime knowing that you did it correctly, and it'll save you in a fight. I don't really have anyone online in the firing range with me to like actually demonstrate this, but I've done it in game, it works, and I've seen videos online, so I'll try to find one of those and then just kind of throw it up on screen in case you haven't seen it for yourself, but it is extremely good. I will say though, it doesn't work on every ult, obviously. Like if there's a Hela up in the air, maybe you parry one of the attacks, but she's just gonna keep raining down on you and kill you. It only really works for immobilizing ultimates like Eye of Agamotto or It's Clobbering Time. Now his last ability we need to cover is, of course, the ultimate, all right? So he leaves this little tunnel of 1,000 cuts. All right, he pulls out the big Dracula sword and leaves 1,000 cuts in the tunnel. So anybody in this radius right here is going to take damage, and if they're in the radius whatsoever, even if they jump out of it and survive the ultimate, they're going to have the same little reduced healing proc that pops up here on the screen. So if I hit these guys, I mean, they're gonna die. But if you saw that for a split second, they also get the reduced healing debuff, and that also can help you tremendously, like just clean up some extra kills if you got any stragglers that didn't die by the ult. Before we get into how to actually use Blade and his kit, I feel like it's important to cover the ultimate because we're already here, and I hear a lot of people saying, oh, this ult's terrible, it's trash, you can just get out of it so easy. But I feel like most people just aren't even using it to the best of its ability, all right? So if I'm in this big wide open area right here, obviously somebody can just jump to the side, get out of it. That's not really the best place to use the ult. Where you really want to be using this is in bottlenecks, all right? Well, Lunar, what is a bottleneck? Okay, take this staircase right here for an example. We got a wide open area right here, a wide open area up there. This is all hypothetical, but say this is like a convoy push the payload type game mode, and the enemy team needs to get from point A to point B up there, all right? They have to funnel through this bottleneck right here, or this little like choke point, all right? Most maps have these little kind of bottleneck areas, and there's ways to get around it, but the whole team typically isn't smart enough to just be like, oh, let's go around this way. So most people will funnel through something like this. If you use Blade's ultimate on an entire team pushing up through something like this, there's really nowhere that they can get away from it. They're gonna just end up taking all the damage, and you'll potentially get 2 or 3 kills out of it. Every single map has areas like this right here too. If it's domination, convergence, convoy, whatever, there's points in the map where most of the team generally will think like, oh, we gotta go through here to get to where we wanna go. And I'll show you specific examples on screen right now so you can see what I'm talking about, all right? I've had many ults with Blade that have worked to great success because a team will just be grouped up in a small confined spot like this, trying to push or get out, whatever. And if you pop your ultimate on them right then, it's over. I mean, you're getting kills 100%. So just keep that in mind when you're using the ultimate, all right? You don't want to use it in just some big wide open space where, yeah, people can obviously just move from side to side and get out of it. You want to use it in tight areas like this where you know they have to push through there. That's their only way to get to wherever they want to go, and you will for sure get kills from it. The examples I showed are obviously just if you're playing solo or something, you're not able to really coordinate with the team, but say you're playing with other people too, you can also combo this with other ultimates, all right? Like if a Doctor Strange uses an Eye of Agamotto, or Thing uses a Clobbering Time, or Groot uses a Strangling Prison, where it locks people into a certain place, you can just stack your ult on top of that and get for sure kills for your team and save a fight or do whatever. I don't know how many times I've been in a game and I've seen Strange pop an Eye of Agamotto, and if there's nothing else to really combo it, like the team's just able to sustain and survive because maybe a healer got out and is just healing everybody or whatever the situation is. So that can be a good way to get for sure kills without worrying. Another useful tip I want to explain with his ultimate is that you obviously dash directly ahead with it, and then you're just stuck over here unless you have your other dashes to like get you out. So something you want to think about is, say this is like a game scenario right here, like you're with your team fighting the other team, all right? If you use your ult right here and say you don't get any kills, you're just in the enemy's backline right now. Like you're pretty much screwed unless, like I said, you have dashes to get you out to safety. So something I also try to think about with this ult is I'll try to sneak around the enemy team, and then I'll pop my ult behind the enemy team so I'm just dashing back to where my team is. That way, after the ult, I'm safe. If I get kills either way, I'm with the boys and everything's good. And most of the time, when you pop it behind people, they're expecting it less than if you're running directly at the enemy team and they know the ult timing's like, oh, Blade's got his ult, he's probably looking to use it, and it's easier for them to get out of. So that's also a really good thing to think about. And I also have clips of doing that too, so I'll throw those up on screen real quick where you can see me just kind of getting around to the back of the enemy team and then using my ult to get back to where my team is, so I'm a lot safer after the fact. Alright, so that was Blade's ult. That's all fine and dandy. Hopefully you learned a few tips for how to use that a little bit better. But now let's talk about the real meat and potatoes of it, his entire kit. Okay, so now we know how to use his whole kit. We know how everything works. Now I want to show you what works best for me when I'm going after a kill, okay? Before we get into playstyle, I want to go over combos or combo with all of his abilities, because that's typically what people look for in duelists, all right? How can I chain all these together to instantly delete somebody? Let's go over that now. So I'm going to show you what works best for me real quick, just so you can see the full thing, and then we'll break it down piece by piece. All right, we'll do it again too. So obviously this is all perfect case scenario, all right? These are still dummies. I'm hitting headshots. Sometimes this combo might be slower, it might be faster, depending on if you have other people helping you out with the kill or if you're hitting your shots. Who knows? There's a lot of factors that go into it. But basically, you're gonna be using your shotgun 90% of the time while playing with Blade. So it's gonna be shotgun blast into shotgun dash that applies the reduced healing, and then you go into Bloodline Awakening, into the Whirlwind Slash with your sword dash, and when you do that in Bloodline Awakening, you immediately work up your bar already halfway. So you're halfway to your max speed output with the sword, and then from there you can just keep going into attacking, and you can get your bar up to max even faster and finish off the kill. So whole thing together: blast, reduced healing, whirlwind slash, and you're just grooving. All right, I'll run through this sequence a few more times just so you can kind of get a better sense of what's going on here, and I'll even throw up the sequence of keys on screen just so you can see that if that's something you're interested in. I see people doing that in like combo videos. They put up like the blah blah blah, whatever's going on. But yeah, I've tried out a couple different combos with this guy when I was first learning him, but this just seems to be what works best. At first, I didn't really think the reduced healing was all that good. I just thought using a double whirlwind would be the best bet, so you could stay up in the, you could instantly get up to like the 10 Bloodline Awakening and just be super fast with the sword. But the reduced healing shotgun initial blast honestly helps out a lot, especially if whoever you're going for is being pocketed or getting healed in any way from their team. So yeah, this is definitely what works best for me. The only real downside I've found with this is that you have to waste both your dashes. So you're like fully committing to this fight. You're not able to dash away and get out as quickly as you'd want to, but you also do have the block if need be. And hopefully most of the time you end up killing this person that you do it on. So really not too much to worry about there. Alright, so now moving on to like actual play style of this guy. I see people all the time thinking Blade is a dive character like Psylocke or Black Panther, alright? They'll try to sneak around to their backline and they'll try to get like a free, easy little pick real quick. And you could do that sometimes with this little combo I showed you, but I feel like Blade is best suited as like an up frontline brawler, kind of like Bucky or Star-Lord, whoever you want to use as an example. Not really as tanky as someone like Reed Richards, but he should be up in the front, just right behind the tank or right alongside the tank, doing damage to the majority of the enemy team in the fight. I know this is all just kind of like a practice scenario here. This isn't like a real game, and we'll get into like a real game scenario after all this is said and done. But say like my team's right here, my imaginary team, and that's the enemy team right there, all right? So we're just shooting, we're going at each other, having fun, all right? Whenever I'm up front and I start to see somebody is getting to about half health, both these dudes are half health, that's when I initiate the combo to make sure it's like fully going to 100% work. So these dudes both have health, we're fighting or whatever. I start to notice that health bar get down. That's when I hit the damage reduction into Whirlwind Slash to try to just pick up an easy clean kill before the healers can even react to what's going on, all right? That's when I seem to find the most use out of it, and you're not going to be in the Bloodline Awakening for too long. If you're able to get a clean kill, just go right back into shotgun so you can take full heal benefits from your team, and most of the time you're able to get away safely. Something I forgot to add too is as Blade, you should be peeling for your supports, all right? Maybe it's just the support in me saying that, but I feel like Blade has a really easy time protecting the backline. If you have somebody like Captain America or Spider-Man, Black Panther, Psylocke, whoever it is trying to dive and get your supports. Like most of the time, for me, it's been just a free kill, honestly. If I got somebody going back there pestering my healers, I can go back there, stay even more sustained than in any 1v1 I'd ever take because I have my healers with me. And we're going up against somebody that's just completely defenseless. It's not like their healers are going to be reaching them all the way in our backline. Blade is also able to kind of chase them down a little bit with his dashes if they're trying to get out. So just keep that in mind too. Like I know the game gets hectic, there's a lot of stuff going on. It might be hard to even like think about or remember or see happening on the map, but if you see somebody targeting your backline, take it up as your job to go back there and handle business, because you can pop that anti-heal, pop all your abilities, and pretty much shred whoever's going after your backline, especially with their help. It's really easy. So that's going to be it for Blade's whole kit, how I feel like you should play him, how you should use his kit. Now let's get into an actual real game situation so you can kind of see all this in motion and me actually applying this to pretty decent success. Hey, I'm over here now. So here we are in a real game scenario. It's domination on Yggdrasil Path. I think that's the name of this map. I'm not 100% sure, but it's the Asgard domination map, all right? We're just gonna go through one round of this because this whole replay is 13 minutes long, and I already don't know how long this video is about to be, but I don't wanna take up too much of your time, all right? This one round should kind of give you the whole gist or picture of things, all right? So we're just gonna jump right in here, off spawn. This is the third round of the game, so I have ult immediately off rip, and I'm planning on just using this instantly. I want to get some kills with this to kind of turn the tides towards our favor, and so we can just immediately get the point. So right away, I'm sorry for the little pause button up on screen. Right away, I push bottom with our tanks, and then our whole team sees that they're up top, so we go to fight them. And I'm looking at this area, and right here where the crosshair is, looks like a pretty good bottleneck to use the ult. I feel like most of their team isn't gonna go diving off of this cliff. They're gonna just end up walking down this to try to capture the point. So we get damage boosted by our Mantis, and then here we are for the ult. Pretty much their entire team is right here. Like I said, they're trying to push down the stairs with the height advantage onto the point, and there's not really many options for the enemy team here. They can either back up or push this way, or walk down the stairs into my team where the whole fight is. So either way, they're in a blender, all right? They're gonna get hit by the ult over here, doesn't matter. So we pop it right instantly. Boom. Pick up 2 kills, and we also affect other people with the healing debuff. Right here, I'm kind of chasing this other blade, sort of egoing him a little bit because it's another blade. I'm playing blade. I want to show him who's boss, and I kind of get lost in it a little bit, but I'm still majority in the middle of this fight with my team. Here I'm just looking for him, can't find him, so I'm like, all right, I'll help the team out in the middle of the point. He ends up coming up right here, and here I use the full blade combo. So I hit him with the dash for the healing debuff, instantly swapped to Bloodline Awakening with the sword, hit the dash again, bro got melted. Instantly just melted. You know, let's get the ESPN replay on that real quick, just so we fully know what happened. I can't hit a shot to save my life. It's all right. He ends up getting out. I didn't see he went up those stairs. Helping the team, blah, blah, blah. And then we just whip out the full combo on him. Boom. Boom. Oh, he tries to get out. Oh, it's not happening. Oh, it's not happening, bro. You're staying right here with me. There's only one blade. Only ever gonna be one blade. And then here, I'm just at the front lines with my team, helping push the rest of them back. I think I kill this Phoenix here. Yeah, she dies. And then I'm just holding the line with them. I'm not thinking like, oh, let's go around and try to sneak a kill on a support. We're just holding the line. It's only ever gonna be one blade. Here, I do honestly try to take like a bit of an off angle, but it's still kind of in the middle of the fight, and I'm able to pick up the Ultron from it. I needed that health pack, so we got the health pack. Team's starting to get pushed back a little bit, so I push back with them too. I think Mantis pops ult here, and then we're just right back up in the thick of it. That right there was also something kind of important too. Phoenix just ulted, and I got the dash. I used the dash to get away from the area of effect. That's something that you should think about. With anybody that has some sort of ult like that, like Jeff is a big example. If you hear Jeff go for the swallow, and then say you're in that area, if you have a dash, you can just dash out of it. It's free. I don't think I've ever been swallowed by a Jeff while playing Blade, and it's honestly pretty nice. I think I use it for a couple other things too, but we'll just let it keep playing. So yeah, we're frontlining, we're having fun. That Ultron should have died, but he dies in a second anyway, so it's okay. Right as soon as he gets out of ult, we kill bro. I think I end up dying somewhere around here, yeah. I'm not perfect, all right? Deaths do happen. I tried to block as much damage as I could. I thought I got away back far enough for my healers to be able to help, but Loki died, and I think Mantis might have been doing something else. It's all good, it happens. We're just gonna get right back into it though. So here, their whole team is on the point. I hear the penny place down the trap. I go up here to take out the trap. So that's what I'm gonna do real quick. I think we're still waiting on the rest of our team to get there anyways. I was also kind of thinking about using an ult right here too, because like if they tried to push our team far up through this, that would have been another great bottleneck point to ult behind them, and then I'd be back with my team ready for the fight. Take that out. They found me. I'm just gonna heal up, and then we're just frontlining, having fun with the team, trying to retake point. Try to kill this blade because there's only ever gonna be one blade. Get close to dying here, but the Groot Wall new team up honestly saved my life. We pop Luna ult here, and our Luna is gonna outlive this one. So we're gonna have point dominance, and we kind of start pushing them back up their staircase a little bit. And then I think I use my ult like right here. I thought more of them were gonna end up pushing up the staircase, but we still get like 2 kills out of it. I get the Luna, and then Black Panther helps me clean up the other blade, so still pretty huge either way. Not just using it like directly on the middle of the point, because that would have been pretty easy to get out of. Here, Mantis is half health, so I'm thinking like, oh, I might be able to use the combo on her. She sleeps me, all right? It's things happen sometimes. My boy Black Panther killed her anyways, but that was the mindset of that. I saw the Mantis half health. I'm like, all right, yep, it's time to just dive, use the combo real quick, and then I'll get out. She had her sleep. That's how the game works. It's all good. But we're right back into it, just on point with the team. I get frozen. Their blade just used his ult from like here to here. Or no, he's over there, so he probably used it from here to here, just in the middle of the point. Wasn't a good ult at all, because this is a place that they're able to sneak out either side and get away from the damage. And that's what happens. He didn't get any kills with that. But we're doing great so far. It's gonna be the end of the match here. And yeah, so that was pretty quick, but that's a good blade round right there. I think I picked up about, like, I think I got like 6 or 7, maybe 8 kills that round. We finished with 10. Where were we at the start of the round? Yeah, we were at 2 at the start of the round, and then I finished with 10. So we got 8 kills just in that one round. That's a pretty solid domination round for Blade, and pretty much encapsulates how I feel like you should be playing this character, honestly. I wasn't trying to sneak all the way around, get like a free pick on anybody. For the majority of the time, I was up front lines with the tank. We were like holding the line, fighting the enemy team. There was a few times where I saw the opportunity to like dive in real quick and get a kill. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't, but yeah, that's a good blade round right there. Obviously, the game of Marvel Rivals is very situational, all right? Sometimes you have really good teammates that know what they're doing and your team's just firing on all cylinders. Sometimes you have 5 DPS players, 1 healer, and it's just not a great time, all right? That's just how it be. But in that example that we just got done watching, that was a round where the team was firing on all cylinders. We had great tanks, great healers, and me as a DPS was able to do my job and handle business. It was pretty good. I've been hearing a lot of talk online that Blade's not really that good. Blade sucks. I don't like playing him, but I've honestly been enjoying the crap out of him. I think he's really good, and if you follow these tips that I've given you in this video, I think you'll have a good time too. With that being said, folks, I think that's gonna about do it here for our guide today. I tried to cover everything I could think about. I'm sure as soon as I post this video, I'm gonna sit there and be like, oh, I didn't talk about this. Oh, I didn't talk about this. That usually happens a lot with me. And if I do have any of those, I'll probably just pin it in the comments because I wanna help you guys as much as possible with this guy. Honestly, I'm fine with people saying he's bad because Guang's probably just gonna see that and be like, oh, we gotta buff him. And then he's gonna get a buff next season and dude's really gonna be OP. So if you're able to be good with him now, just wait. They're probably gonna like give him an extra dash or take away his anti-heal with the E ability, what's it called? Bloodline Awakening. I honestly, I can't wait for him to be better. They might make his ult bigger too. Like that, Oh, that'd be insane. But yeah, I think that's gonna about do it here for the guide, folks. If you learned something, or if you like what you saw here today, or this video made you better at Blade, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe for more content like this. I'm not gonna claim to be the best duelist in Marvel Rivals, all right? I'll claim to be the best healer all day, every day, 7 days a week, no question. But in Blade, I think I'm above average with Homeboy, all right? I think I get the job done. I don't think I've seen a Blade do it like me. So whenever I get that feeling with the character, I feel like I gotta impart knowledge on the community. So hopefully you picked something up from this, all right? That's about it for me, folks. Thank you for watching. Take it easy. This has been Blade, and welcome to Bound.